Good morning to everybody. Thank you to be there for the travel you made. For some people far. From letting go to the pranic consciousness. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm French, I come from France, and for 7 years now, I lead people and groups for pranic fasting for a period of 7, 4, 21, 28 days for some people. And that's my main occupation, because probably it is my mission today. I don't know. So I wouldn't like this conference, this speech, to be only a speech, to be only a conference, not to be theoretical, but I'd like it to be for you an experience that you will never forget. How? To let you practice, experiment some special state of mind inside. We will do 1, 2, 3 practices. But also I need you, I need your questions, I need your participation, so it's more alive for you. Because in reality, everything has been already read. Everything has been already said. My English is not perfect, sorry. In my YouTube channel, there are more than 400 videos about prana. There are also the videos of Henri Montfort, Alina Rouel, Pascal Martelly, Elitom, Armin, Christian. So many things have been already said. We don't need, in reality, so much information. It's too much. Because the more we have in the head, mentally speaking, bigger the obstacle to the pranic nourishment, to the pranic state and pranic consciousness is. That's why the title of this conference, From the Letting Go to the Pranic Consciousness. What is the pranic consciousness? First, we have to make the difference between pranic nourishment, pranic state, and pranic consciousness. Pascal already spoke a little bit yesterday evening about this. Pranic nourishment is to be nourished by prana, but everybody is nourished by prana because of the chakras, meridians. The body is energy, so everybody is already pranic, in fact. Why are we eating? Because we forgot we were pranic. We just forgot, and we just have to remember. What is the natural state of being is to be pranic, is to be nourished naturally by the life. And the problem is always the same. At the same time, the problem has also the purpose, le défi in French, I don't know in English. The challenge, yes, the challenge. Problem as the challenge also is to deal with the ideas, the thoughts, and to manage for more harmonious emotions. And then the pranic state can happen. The pranic state is that you don't need anymore to eat, because you are related to the quantum field and you are fed, naturally speaking, by the universe, by life. Also, some pranic people who doesn't eat anymore do not have necessarily the pranic consciousness, and some people have the pranic consciousness and they are not pranic. They still eat. What is the pranic consciousness? Pranic consciousness is unity. Unity with everything. Because in fact, to be the best possible, nourished by prana, to be pranic and to live through the pranic consciousness, we only have to do one thing, just to be. And the more we know here, the more we do to become pranic, the less it works. In reality, this is the piège. The trap. This is the trap. Imagine to open a safe. You have a combination of 4 figures, 4 numbers. You have to find the best combination to put the key and open the safe. This is what we call alignment between the 4 states: physical, thinking, emotions, spiritual. And to find the best combination is what the Tibetans say. And I always felt very close to the Tibetans. What do they say? In reality, we must die, and so we can live fully. First we die, after we live. It means first we let go, after we can live. There is a special, for me special and very deep law in electricity. All the electricians know this law. It is called the law of resistance. It is measured in ohm. Take this wire, this is wire, take this wire. The more the resistance increases, the less the electricity can circulate. The less the resistance is, the more the electricity can circulate. For prana, it is the same. What prevents in our being, not only in the body, but in the being, what prevents prana to circulate as much as necessary for the body to have a good functioning? What prevents prana to be really strong in our body? I ask you. Stress. Good answer.
Toxins.
Limited beliefs.
Limited beliefs, limitations. You said, Christian?
Toxins.
Toxins.
The toxin.
Of course.
The free flow of energy in the body, the free flow of prana blocks because of the stress.
All your answers are right. So, what is prana for you? What is prana for you?
Energy, vibration.
Prana is said to be the universal energy of life. But not only. For me, there are 4 types of prana, of energy. Of course, there is the energy, the prana from the sun, and maybe from all the suns, from all the galaxies in the universe. We couldn't live without this kind of energy, of course. But when we stay 6 months very up in the north of the earth, Finland, Norway, etc. 6 months in the night, we have to live also. That's why some people, very often, quite a lot of people, make depression because of the lack of this energy. So this energy is very important. What other kind of prana we could say, we could enumerate? There is also the prana made by the alignment to the present. Neuroscientifically, with the mind, when you meditate, you make some energy, which is very good for the health, generally speaking. When you are here, no more in the past, no more in the future, when you are here, you live fully in a better way in the present, and it's much more efficient for the health of the body and health of the mind. When you live in the present with this level of mind, not in the head but in the heart, the science, the neurosciences, showed that we also produce an energy coming from the heart. An electromagnetic energy, which is also very good for the health, for the immunity, as an example. These are 3 kinds of prana. And the 4th one is, for you, which one? What could be this 4th source of energy, source of prana?
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love is the conscious of the heart. But if we go a little bit further from the unconditional love, which joins the unity consciousness, in reality, when you are in the unity, you connect with the divine, connected to everything. You are not only the drop of water. At the same time, you realize that you are the drop and you are the ocean. You are no more only the sparkle of fire, you are also the whole fire, the fire of life. So the 4th source of prana is the divine. From the letting go to the pranic consciousness. What do you prefer? Because everything is already fully nourished by the prana. So speaking to the prana by itself and only speaking of prana, for me is useless, is very limited, because everybody is nourished by prana. Because everything is energy. Freud used to say, everything is sex. I declared that everything is energy. There is Nassim Haramein, quantum quantic scientist. He says, like so many other scientists, that what we can touch is at 99.9% energy. So where is the problem? What is the challenge? Is to reconnect at this reality in the present with this alignment through the body, thoughts, emotions, and the spiritual field. What is the spiritual field? What is spirituality for you? What is the best spirituality, the best spiritual practice for you? When we speak about consciousness, we speak about spirituality. There is no pranic consciousness without the physical consciousness. We have to be first in unity with ourselves through the physical consciousness, and then after we will connect it fully to the universe, and then we get the pranic consciousness field, which is also the quantum consciousness. And some other people speak about the divine, which is the same. It depends if you are atheist, if you are religious, if you are a scientist. And as regards the state of prana, living without eating, and the consciousness of the unity, which is called pranic consciousness, what do you prefer? To be pranic, no more eating, or to live with the unity consciously? Do you prefer the pranic state or the pranic consciousness? Which one do you prefer? Of course, to have the two of them is the best, if we can say like this. The more you want to be pranic, to stop eating, the more your ego speaks, and the less you will succeed to become pranic. This is very violent, to eat no more, unless you let the things go. The more, a lady called me once. She wanted to subscribe for a 14 days pranic session, not to eat for 14 days, and then after hoping to become pranic. I asked her why she wanted to realize this training. She told me, I want to become pranic, so I will live in the unity. And I answered her, no. Train yourself to live at each moment in the unity, presence here, then you will become pranic. It's much more easier like this. For that reason, the title of this conference, From the Letting Go to the Pranic Consciousness. Now my question is, do you have some things with yourselves, in ourselves, in yourselves, to let go? Do you have some things you would like to let go? In your physical field, in your spiritual field, emotional field, thinking field. Everybody has things to let go. Everybody controls. I control, to be sure. Maybe. Remember the electricity law. We are too much like this. And at the same time, it's not easy to hear and to recognize our dark zones with ourselves. The reality is there. It is useless to put more light in the light. It's already light. It's nonsense. The best, Jung used to say this, the best for better health, better conscious, better happiness is to put light in the dark. Yes, but it's not easy. It's not easy for the ego. It's not easy for the fears, because everybody is afraid to look at these dark zones. And that's why it is so difficult to become pranic, because we never go deep with ourselves. In fact, we do not have to go down, to go deep. We just have to relax, and when we relax, the fire of life is like when you boil some water. Little drops of air, they go up and push at the surface. It's the same. When you relax, some deep things from the darkness comes up, and when you let go until the end, it disappears. It means, first, deprogrammation of the limited beliefs. First, reprogram beliefs which are the contrary of limited, unlimited beliefs. Between limited and unlimited, sometimes we have also to forgive. To forgive. Yes, to forgive what we lived with some people. Because I'm angry against somebody, he hurt me, or I feel culprit with myself because I made bad things towards somebody. And sometimes I also have to forgive with myself only. To forgive somebody who hurt me, to be forgiven by this one to whom I hurt, and the third possibility is to forgive with oneself. Which one of these three kinds of forgiveness is for you, do you think, the more difficult to realize? Last one. The last one is to forgive to oneself, because why is it so difficult? Because the self-esteem is not so good in quite a lot of people. Self-esteem is not so good. We are used to, since we were born, to feel not so good. And then we would like to be pranic, to know the pranic consciousness. There is something not in harmony with this. Do you understand? Do you understand? Do you understand? Do you understand? So, letting go is important. I ask you again the same question. What would you like to let go? Too many thoughts. As an example, too many thoughts, too many desires for eating. The state of being pranic unconsciously for some people is forbidden. Consciously they want to know the pranic consciousness, they want to be pranic, and unconsciously they don't want, they can't, because it's forbidden for them. It is not so easy in mind for us, the human beings. So, how to deal with everything, all these things? We have a lower mind, which is the mental, and an upper mind, which is the conscious, left and right. There is somebody here, he has a blue t-shirt with the 8 of infinity. You've seen him, he's Indian. I like very much this t-shirt. We took some photos. I propose you a very easy practice to help the two brains, left and right, to unify, so there will be less thoughts, more serenity, and also the conscious can be more present. Would you like to experiment this? Very easy. So, get well seated in your chair or armchair. The spine is straight, not rigid, not bended, straight, naturally straight. Feet on the floor, and imagine a thread from the sky, from the head to the sky, as a whole line. Then you close the eyes. And we will imagine a distance from the left ear to the right ear, just at the middle. It is exactly where the 8 of infinity crosses. We imagine this 8 of the infinity joining left ear and right ear. And then we start to breathe. To breathe naturally. No particular technique. Breathe in, you follow half of the 8. Breathe out, you follow the other half of the 8. And you let go in opening gently the mouth, relaxing all the muscles of the jaws. Breathe in, breathe out, and you can also move a little bit with the head to imitate the 8. It is very good to do this when you travel by train, by plane, flight, and also in the cars if you do not drive. Then we will imagine at the middle of the 8, we will imagine sun, the sun. Receiving all this energy, this prana from the universe, coming through all the little holes of the skin, all over the body. And while you breathe out, you send all this light, this prana to the whole body, up to the feet, up to the roots under the feet. This is a very simple method to be nourished by prana, with quiet thoughts, with more serene emotions, being more present, less in the past, less in the future. And then, when you want, you can open the eyes. If you yawn, it's a good sign of having relaxed the body. It's a good sign. It means you are less in the mental activity. Very easy. Do this as much as you can, as much often you can. It's very good. Now we give you the secret to become pranic. No more need to eat, and at the same time to develop, to be completely in the unity consciousness. What is this secret? The secret is no more technical, no more methods, techniques, practices. No need. The more it is technical, the more complicated is it, because the mental wants to control and to remain us in this state of not being conscious, but being as thinking. What is the secret to get the pranic consciousness, to become pranic, to live fully with the pranic quantum field? The secret is everywhere around us. Look at the trees. They live the secret. What do the trees do? They live completely these three things. Not moving, immobility, not moving, just here, at the present. Don't move. Of course we have to move, we have to do many things all the day round, of course. But if we do such things, so many things, just being here, like the tree, no moving with the mind, just being there with the conscious, not the mind. We will be more nourished by prana, because less resistance. The resistance is called stress. The less stress we are, we live, we connect, we suffer from, the better your level of health, joy, happiness, and conscience will be. Immobility, silence is the second condition. Silence of too much thinking, silence of so many emotions perturbing our balance, equilibrium. It doesn't mean that the emotions are bad things. Emotions are very good things because they prove us we are alive. So they must be our friends, not an enemy. Thoughts are also our friends. We shouldn't try, because it never works, we shouldn't try to stop thinking, to have no more thoughts. This is not the purpose. Everything is a question of balance. When you go to the doctor, I used to be a nurse. I worked in France during 16, 18 years as a nurse, and it's no more my job. When you go to the doctor, you take some blood, you analyze to the microscope, then you get the results. All the results are noticed as a balance, not too less, not too much. This is the same for thoughts, emotions, everything. Immobility, silence. What could be the third one for you?
Unconditional love.
Oh. Unconditional love is a consequence of this.
Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis, no. No.
I mean human photosynthesis.
It is already the case. Whatever you do or do not do, you always produce photosynthesis. That's the job of the cells. We do already this. That's why the doctors call in the intestines the light of the intestines. But they forgot, since the antique Greece, they forgot that it concerns the universe energy. So,
The energy in this chakra. Prana.
giving, no.
The flow of prana to
Silence, immobility, verticality, to be related from the earth to the sky, like the tree. Silence, immobility, verticality. Why? Pascal said it also yesterday evening. We are an antenna. We receive from the sky, we transmit to the earth. We receive from the earth, we transmit to the sky. And for this, we have to be open. You know Jean-Claude Van Damme. Jean-Claude Van Damme always says, be aware, aware, aware. And I say all the time, before to be aware, just be present and be open. And then you will become aware. Not the contrary. Be aware is to be present and to be open. To let things go. Just to be. Let it be. Like the Beatles used to sing. Let it be. We only have one thing to do. Is to be. Not to have, not to do, not to make. We are not having beings. We are not doing beings. We are human beings. Human beings. Being, be. It's very easy. And so much complicated, so much difficult for us. Why? Because of this thought, these limited beliefs, because of this unconscious level of certain people who unconsciously believe it is forbidden for them to be happy. I tell you, I'm also a therapist, and for 20 years I receive people for stress problems, and so many people. And for that, everybody is concerned. Everybody. I like also to remember people that to be interested by the pranic field, to experiment the pranic field, is finally only one thing. It is just a question of hygiene of life. The more you increase your level of hygiene of life, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the more pranic you will become, and the more you will live in the unity consciousness. This is very basic. focus, immobility, verticality. Trees are our friends. They are here to inspire us of what they live. And look at the trees, look at the colors, look at the color of the trees. Leaves or needles. What is the color of the trees?
Green, black, brown.
Green. Generally speaking, a tree is green. What can we see in this green color of the trees? We can see the green color also of the heart chakra. Heart chakra is also green. No, it is not green, because it is not a question of color, it is a question of vibration. This is the vibration of the color green. Then, with the immobility, verticality and silence, if we live with the conscious of the heart, of being in the heart, more than being in the mental, it works better. Not to become pranic. It works better to be more happy, to be in a better health. Can you see the link between living from the conscience of the heart and being in a better health? Can you see the link? What link could you see? What link could you see between living from the conscience of the heart and the health? What is the link? The link is very easy, simple. Intuition. Not thinking. Intuition. I like very much this food. Yes, but my body doesn't like. If I eat this, I will be sick. Allergy. Ding, 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 ding. Diarrhea. I don't care. I want this food. I like. No, listen your body. What does your intuition tell? The intuition is the language of the body. The body says, no, I don't want this. I don't want this. If you listen, your health will be better. Very, very easy. But we forgot how to listen, how to feel. We forgot. Even this has become difficult to listen, to hear, to feel, and to let be. Before to be, sometimes there is to let it go, to let it go. Once I was giving a pranic conference in France. The husband of a wife, of a couple, asked me, how do you do to feel so much in the mind, mental we are? So I asked his wife to stroke his arm. And then I asked him, what did you feel? I felt something very pleasant, a stroke. So, that's how you have to do, to feel, just to listen and to be aware at the moment something is happening. Would you like to experiment now a very little practice, very famous practice, to be more in conscience with the heart, less in the thoughts? It also helps to balance, to equilibrate.
Find balance.
Equilibrium.
To equilibrate the thought, the emotions. and to connect easily the field of the conscience, which is not the field of thinking. Would you like? Okay, here we go. Once again, well seated in the chair. In the chair. Close the eyes. Ask the body to relax. Open gently the mouth to relax the muscles of the jaws. Then you will breathe in and breathe out. This is no more the lungs that breathes. Imagine this is the heart that breathing is becoming big like I don't know the word. Imagine the heart that breathes in like a lung, like a third lung. Imagine the heart that breathes out, becoming small. The heart breathes in, it becomes big. The heart breathes out, it becomes small. While you breathe in through the nose or the mouth. While you breathe out through the mouth, open mouth. And you stay at this level of the heart, becoming bigger, breathe in, smaller, breathe out. Nothing to do, just to be. And to let the heart breathe by itself. Then each noise you can hear is becoming a food, is becoming a source of prana, because there is the prana of the noise, there is the prana of the colors. There is the prana of smelling. Everything is unity. Everything is at the right place, at the right moment, because life is perfect. Everything is perfect. We are perfect. And maybe, I hope for you, that you start to feel in the area of the heart this feeling of being light, not heavy, being light. Maybe you can see with the vision, clairvoyance, you can see this light inside, and you can feel also a certain state of well-being. Let all these things be, then you begin to feel some joy. Without a reason. This joy without reason has been taught by the Buddha itself. Then now you're going to realize, to program in the cells, the 3 secrets of pranic state, pranic consciousness. The 3 secrets. Send this program, this very good belief for the whole body, each cell of the body. We are now living silence. We are now living, experiencing immobility. We are now living verticality. Because we are no more only spiritual beings living through this body, because conscience is free, above, through this body, above the limited beliefs, above the fears, above thinking, believing it is forbidden to be happy. Now we are experiencing this conscience is getting free. Because now we can feel, we become each tree, each bird, each butterfly, each ant, each snake, each one of us, we become everything. Always connected to the heart. From the heart connection, from our heart connection, we become connected to the heart of the universe. This is called happiness. In reality, everybody is free. In reality, everybody is already happy. There is nothing to do, nothing to have, to possess. No more beliefs, limited or unlimited. Everything is already here. We just need to reconnect with silence, immobility, verticality. Whatever you eat, this is not important. Whatever you do not eat, whatever you are pranic or not pranic, this is not the problem, this is not the purpose. to manage stop eating. This is not the purpose. The purpose is the unity consciousness, the pranic consciousness. When you want, here and now, and everywhere at the same time, you can open the eyes. Can you hear this silence? This is just what we need, silence, to be present. And from being present, to abandon oneself in the presence, which is the divine, which is prana. And for those people who do not believe to God, prana has another word, like divine. What is this word for you? For prana, if you don't like to speak God, what could we say as prana, which is also prana? Mana, which is also, it's still prana. Mana is for Tahiti, Hawaii. You said it to me, you told me this morning the other word. Prana is love. Prana is unconditional love of free conscience. Several years ago, I was visiting a friend. She used to sell shoes in her shop, and between noon to 2 o'clock p.m. she was having some rest at the first floor in an armchair, a sofa. I was seated with her, we were speaking, and she asked me to realize a pranic meal, which is a pranic meditation. Exactly what we did, what we lived now. When we finished, I was like this, on the sofa, speaking with, I don't remember her name, we were speaking, and something asked me, in intuition, in telepathy, asked me to turn the head like this. I turned the head, and I saw here, at 2 or 3 meters in front of me, much prana. And they told me in telepathy, hey, we are also love. We are not only prana. We are love of the universe. They told me. I heard it. I saw it. So, now, I'd like to receive your impressions, your feelings of this. I don't ask you, what do you think? It's still mine, mental, too much mental. What do you feel just now, here and now, with yourself? What the body language tells you just now?
I feel, but not necessarily about the body of mine, that you're very nicely connected to Christed consciousness, and I want to thank you for being here.
Thank you to you.
Feel very
has problems with the mosquitoes by night here? Who has problems with the mosquitoes by night here? Who has problems? No mosquito come to bite me. No. No one. How to do? Very easy. I was leading a 20-person group in France last year, and there were so many flies everywhere. We were opening the windows before for the wind to take them out. We were closing the windows after, and still so many flies present. During the pranic meditation at 8 o'clock in the morning, the eyes closed, I was saying sometimes, everybody. Except 3 people, 3 guys. Pierre Leray-Guillemet, he was in the group. Patrice Gros. I interviewed them. They are in my YouTube channel. You will see them. Patrice Gros is a specialist of Reiki. He's like almost a monk when you see him. And the third one was me. The flies, they wasn't coming to bother us, except the 17 others. It is very easy to understand that when you fight against something, this thing is more present. When you want the mosquitoes stop bothering you, they will be more present because they feel your energy, which is not an energy of love. If you want to be quiet with the mosquitoes, don't try to put them away. You just imagine you are in a bubble. You are in a bubble of love coming from the sun of the heart, and the sun of the heart sends love to all the alive beings, and also to all the mosquitoes. And they will know more. This is the unity consciousness, no more duality. And I can tell you it works. Of course, when you are pranic, flies, mosquitoes, they don't bother you anymore. Maybe there are some chemical reasons, because the skin doesn't smell the same. If you eat some meat, if you eat only vegetables and fruits, and if you eat no more, if you live through the pranic field, it's different for the skin, and the mosquitoes don't bother you anymore. It is very pleasant.
I think it also has to do with the brain frequency. Because I noticed here, for example, at the beginning I was a bit worried because everybody was flying in, everybody was thinking of me, making calls and so on during the night. So sometimes thoughts would arise, or sometimes I was picking up the thought forms of others. And when I was starting to think, mosquitoes were coming.
Yes, completely.
When I was starting to fully relax, mosquitoes were flying around, I could hear them, but they wouldn't touch on my skin. So it had to do with my brain frequency.
Yes.
When calm, I would just be left alone, and when agitated,
That's why it is highly recommended not to live from the morning to the evening with the beta frequency of mind, which is the frequency of disharmony, thinking, stress. This is not the best. The best is the more you can to live through the alpha frequency, and the alpha frequency is the alpha of the heart. When you live with the frequency of the 13 Hertz, you connect with the universe, and then you get more energy. Then you will be more peaceful with yourself. Then you create the hormones of joy, of This is a question of hygiene of life. Only, for me, prana is only a question of hygiene of life. Then you can connect also the divine, if you believe, if you let things go. It is a question of abandoning oneself to the whole, which is the most difficult to do, to abandon oneself. Because more than 80% of the human beings, they believe they have been abandoned by their parents. Because once the parent didn't tell the little boy or little girl, I love you, baby, I'm here, I protect you. Once, baby was crying in the door, in the bed, and the parent didn't come too fast, then the baby felt as if he was abandoned. This is very anguish, angoisse, dramatic for the baby, for the toddler, for the teenager. And then we have so many difficulties to abandon oneself to life. For these people, it works also like this. There is a French writer, I think it is Voltaire, probably Voltaire. He said, here we have a hole in the shape of God. So, to dive in this hole, deeply in the heart, allows us to experiment the unity in the fullness of the emptiness, the fullness of the emptiness. But the problem is the emptiness generates so much fear, emptiness. We don't like to hear silence. We don't like to do nothing. When we go inside the flat or the house after a day of working, we switch on the radio, the TV, to make noise. So like this, we don't feel anymore we are alone in the house. It's not easy to feel alone. Right or wrong? We have in the heart a hole in the shape of God, of love, of pranic states, if you want. Any question, please? How much time?
15 minutes.
15.
1 5.
You mentioned about the three qualities, verticality and
Silence, verticality.
verticality and
Sorry?
stillness.
Connection between ground and sky.
That's verticality.
Verticality,
Then stillness.
immobility, silence.
Immobility.
Like the trees.
Stillness. So, in which case, people who sit motionless in meditation should be able to attain to the state, or without doing anything, just doing. Suppose a person does vipassana practice.
There are many ways of meditation, of meditating. There are many ways to meditate, to practice, technically or non-technically. But to be very simple, and so everybody can reach this kind of meditation. And for me, to meditate is just to hear and to listen. To hear, to feel, to listen. Just like this. No more need to sit down like this. If you want, but just to be here, to realize as being present of this presence is already to be fed by the prana. and to generate the pranic consciousness, the unity consciousness. There is nothing else to do. Of course, there is fasting. The fasting is very important because the body needs to be prepared. I will speak about this in 2 days for the next conference. What is the difference between fasting and pranic nourishment? This is another subject, important, yes.
When people attend your training programs, like what percentage of how is it structured, and what percentage of people after the training programs actually transition to becoming breathtaking? Or is it not at all relevant? That's not what they look at. What your training programs work for? My trainings of pranic fast, whatever you stay 7, 14, 21 days in this training, of course you do not eat, but first you need some preparation before. You have to drink water, herbal tea, if you like, organic, to help body to function correctly, to drain and eliminate the toxins. Then I accompany the group 4 times a day. First time is at 4:30 in the morning, we practice a half an hour of meditation. For those who like to meditate and who feel good, if they are too much tired, they have to stay in the bed. I practice vipassana meditation, practice other things too. To train the conscience to be more present, to train the mental to be less present, to work at the balance, equilibrium, better with oneself. Then I propose 3 pranic meals through meditation at 8 o'clock in the morning, at noon, at 7 p.m. Generally speaking, the time we are eating. And the rest of the time is free time for the people to take rest, to speak to each other, to take time with themselves. It's a training of well-being. It's like Club Med. No, I'm kidding.
Club Med? Good stuff.
I'm kidding. Because the less you do, the less you want, the less you are searching for, the better it is, and easier it works. Not to become pranic, but to cultivate the alignment between physical, mental, emotional and spiritual levels. And the easier it is to train the conscience to be above, in alpha state, above the beta state, which is the mental level. And also you need to bring the energy to the cells, to the whole body, to work correctly for the detoxification. It's like a car. We can eat no more, but we cannot be nourished by a source of energy which is prana, because if you don't put the gasoline in the car will no more drive you where you want. It's the same. Very recently, a lady who was following the first training in France of 2020 this year, the first day I presented the program, like I did just now, she said, "Oh, so much time for us. Yeah, we will see you only 4 times a day. It's not enough. Well, it's going to be boring." In reality, it is full. so many things to connect. To be conscious is a lot of work. It's a great challenge to be conscious. To be conscious. Look at the T-shirt, the 8 of the infinity. If you want to be more conscious, there is a non-pranic, very famous spiritual lady in France, in the west part of the world. She's called Aruna Lipschitz. Aruna Lipschitz said, the best spirituality is not to be Buddhist, to be Muslim, to be Christian, to be whatever you want. The best spirituality is to listen, to feel the breathe. Ana is breathing, Apana is breathe out, Sati is observe. This is Apanasati. Just to practice from the morning to the evening, Apanasati, whatever you do, you don't do, it will help you, like Brahmarshi to awake and to know a better state of health, of conscience, and of happiness. And maybe with this, one day you will become pranic. It means you will need no more to eat, but this is not the priority, this is not the purpose. I don't care people eat or don't eat. That's not my... This is the focusing of the ego. You eat, you don't eat. It's not problem.
It's to balance all the 4 levels, the 4 layers.
Question of balance.
So they do anapanasati meditation throughout the day.
Yes, but not from here, from the heart. From the heart. There is on YouTube a great scientific documentary made by the Heart Institute in California, which is called The Infinite Power of the Heart. They explain this from the heart, scientifically speaking.
When you say, could you please elaborate, when you say from the heart, can you make it, give it a little bit more clarity, because I don't know whether which, now if I'm sitting and I'm breathing in, I'm observing the breath, observing the gap, observing the outgoing breath and the gap. And then slowly I'm observing myself. But how do I connect it with my heart, with my emotional state? Separate?
First you observe the breathing, breathe out. And when you let things go, when you let things be, you become breathing. You are the breathing, you are the breathe out. It's no more a question of thinking, observing. It is a question of living from the inside. And when you live from the inside with this connection to the heart, then you connect to the whole universe. You become the universe. What we are the universe. We are not in the universe. The universe is not in ourselves. We are, each one of us, the universe. Because we are the unity. And duality is this speciality of mental. It's a special thinking that we cannot be complete, holistic, happy, unified with ourselves and with the whole.
It's very interesting. So much learning, so much wisdom. It's very interesting. Thank you.
The Buddha himself used to practice anapanasati. And he used to put his conscience between the breathe in and breathe out, in this gap, which can be also an apnea. Breathe in, breathe out. Conscious, full conscience in the gap between breathing and breathe out. Only this. He was practicing also, I think, Vipassana. He was practicing this. These are very powerful practices, not to generate the CDs, powers, no. If powers they have, they will be. But don't identify to them. Just to be like the trees, silence, immobility, verticality.
Okay, I think we'll come towards the if you want to close out with some specific.
So, my conclusion of this conference, if you agree with me, is what somebody said. Somebody, I don't remember who, but I think so many people said this. If what you say is not as beautiful as the silence, so shut up. If what you have, what you say, what you want to say is not as much beautiful as the silence, so don't speak. Thank you.